So when we talk about the CS100 class, the class is divided into two different components. The first component will be the lecture, run by your class instructor. The class instructor is in charge of creating assignments, presenting the slides, answering any sort of questions related to that, the midterm, the final, and so on. They can typically be contacted by email or visited during office hours. Information for both of those should be found on the syllabus on your courses. Your courses is our university system of hosting and organizing all of the information for all of our classes. If you haven't been on your courses yet, you need to get onto that as soon as possible because you'll be missing out on very important information, such as notes, grades, messages. It's important. So you'll log on, you'll pick the CS100 class, you'll get a page that looks something like this, where you'll have your information, some reminders, anything like that. On your courses, there's a menu in the top left corner here, a menu button here, that provides shortcuts to a lot of the information you'll need to see. Most important one that I think people will be interested in is the grades here. You'll click here to check your grades. The other half of the class is the CS100 Lab. The lab will focus on the hands-on material and how to use the programs you need to use to complete the assignments. All of the lab content is found on the lab pages themselves. All of the recordings can be found on a YouTube channel here or on the respective lab pages for where they're relevant. Our lab team is made of two parts. We have the coordinator who is in charge of organizing the labs, office hours, marking disputes, lab tests, anything like that. They can be contacted at help100@eurogina.ca. We also have part-time instructors. The instructors will teach the lab and mark their own lab sections, but they're not paid to help outside their lab times. So if you are needing help with any of the lab content, make sure you're talking to the lab coordinator outside the labs, not the lab instructors. Please don't just stop them in the hallway. They're not paid to deal with it. Where you go for help in CS100 often depends on what you need help with. If you're having questions about the content, the midterm, the final, the assignment descriptions, you may want to talk to the class instructor. If you have questions about any of the lab material, lab tests, or assignment marking, you should contact the lab coordinator first, or visit them during their help hours. If you have accessibility concerns or you're going to be absent for a long time, you should contact both. We have a list of common answers and questions on our FAQ, which can be found here and back on our homepage. Oftentimes, if you search this, you'll probably find the answer to what you need first. And to be honest with you, a lot of the times when students are sending emails, all we do is we Google their question and send them back the first answer that shows up. So you'd probably often save a lot of time if you just did that yourself. There's a diagram comic here that illustrates that. But that is how our class is divided.